Well, hello again. My name is Sam Conver. I'm with Bluegrass Martial Arts, and this will be our second set with our seminar series. We did single stick, got pretty in depth with the material that we use here during our classes, particularly our weapons class. Through the course of a year, we go through several different weapons and we switch them up about every 2 months. What happens then is we don't quite get through all the material, because when I started doing this, the weapons class only consisted of single stick. So we spent all year doing single stick, and I really worked out that material, and we had a lot of good content with it. And then we added double sticks to that. So then that moved to half a year, and then we added the half staff or the cane, and we added the full size staff, and so forth and so on. So at this point, about every 2 months we switch weapons. So that gives me about 8 to 9 classes to try and cover all that content. And of course, we don't get through it all. So this is an effort to be able to include all that content so that it's out there, it's available, and that we can continue to practice this. If you're not with us, or you're at home and you want to continue practicing the material even when we've moved on to another weapon, you have the means to do so. In our first series with the single stick, we talked about the salutation, so I'm not going to go too in depth with that again, but it is 9 steps. And when you have the double sticks, the easiest way is just to hold the 2 of them in one hand. So again, the 9 steps to it are: step 1 looks like this, the stick's pointing down, your hand reached up. Step 2, the hand comes down towards your belt, sticks comes up to your between your eyes, and then 3, we drop it down into the hand. 4, we step back with the right foot and bring them up level. 5, you drop the sticks down, you reach out your left hand. Again, this is like a training partner. You're agreeing to work with your training partner. 6 comes up to what we call our wisdom pose. And 7, we step back. This is a defensive posture. 8, touch the sticks to the ground, covering your face. And the last one, 9, you bring the feet back up and you make a big loop to a downward diagonal, or an angle 2, as we call it in our numerato, our numbered pattern. And that is the salutation that we use in our classes. So we are going to start again with the numerato. Again, that is where we start with the single stick, and that stays consistent no matter what weapon we use. So all the weapon systems use those 12 angles, but considering you can also go up and down on most of those angles, or left and right on most of those angles, you end up getting a lot of different options even within those 12 angles. So again, the 12 angles that we have, and we'll look at it with just the right hand, look at it with just the left hand, then we'll look at it in sets, because we're looking at double stick now. I'll keep the sticks here up on my shoulder. Again, I want to hold the stick with a little bit of grip down at the end here. Gripping them flush will give you a little more reach, but the leverage that you lose in that is not worth it. And it allows you to, if they do crash in on you and get closer in range, you can still use the bottom, the puño, to hit with, right? So having a little bit of this bottom, or what we call this puño, is important. But I'll start with the stick just up on the shoulders here, standing square. Our angle 1 is a downward diagonal, starts high on the right, comes down to the left, right? I can also go up that line. That's our reverse angle 1. So angle 1 goes down, angle 1 reverse goes back up again, right? Angle 2 is the opposite side. It comes down from the left to the right diagonal, and it can reverse going back up that line. Again, downward, angle 2, upward, angle 2, from the left to the right, right? And then angle 3 is going to come across horizontally, and that can come outward as it goes away from your body, or it can come inward, but it's flat along the lines of the neck or the head this way. There's an angle 3 going in, angle 3 going back out again. Angle 4 is just like angle 3, it's just lower, it's to the waist. Comes across, can go inward, or it can come outward, right? Same thing, angle 3 or 4 going in, angle 4 going out is to the waist. Then 5 is a thrust to the center mass thrust, and 6 and 7 are also thrusts. So 5 thrust center, 6 comes in from the right side, right to the left, and you're thrusting under their arm is the target on that. And then 7 is the opposite side. It thrusts outward underneath the arm. So 7 is going from the left to the right. 6 right to left, 7 left to right. Then 8 is along the low line here to the knees. And again, just like 3 and 4, it can come inward, it can come outward, right? Along that line, 8. Inward 8 or outward 8. Then 9 is like 5, it's a thrust, but it's higher to the face or to the throat. Here is a thrust on the 9, straight in that way. And then 10 and 11 are essentially angle 1 and angle 2 again, but they're thrusting on those angles. So 10 is thrusting on that angle, what we would say is angle 1, coming down from the right to the left. Then thrusting down from the left to the right is angle 2, what we call angle 11, but it's thrusting on an angle 2. And I get confused because if it were up to me, this would just be a thrust on angle 1 and a thrust on angle 2. But for the numerato, they call that an angle 10, and they call that an angle 11. And then 12 comes straight down the center line here, or it can come up, right? Reverse 12 is rising, or downward 12, or upward 12, that way, right? So with the right hand, you can do all those with the right hand, you can do them with the left hand. When I do it, this is still angle 1, even though it's the backhand, right? So if you're doing it with the left hand, that feels like you're doing an angle 2, but it's not. That is still, that line in front of you is what's important. So this is angle 1, this is also angle 1, and this is the reverse of angle 1, coming up, right? Downward, backhand, and then going up. Angle 2 feels like an angle 1 because it's the left hand coming down this line, because this is the line for angle 2, and reverse comes back up again. And then again we have 3 comes across inward, 3 goes outward, right? Both left coming in, left coming out, and 4 comes low to the waist, in, and then out, same thing as doing it with the right side. With the 3 and the 4, and the 1 and the 2s, you can also do what we call the crosata, where they crisscross. You could do your 1 and 2 together and crisscross. You can reverse those and come back up again, right? So when it's the slashing angles, 1 and 2, you could crisscross coming down, crisscross coming up. You can do the same with 3 and 4. You can crisscross coming in, crisscross coming out, or to the waist. You can crisscross, since we have 2 weapons now, coming in, crisscross, and coming out. When we get to 5, again, that's that center line thrust, right, with the left hand. 6 will feel like a 7 here, because it's still, this is our line for 6, so that stays the same even when you're using the other hand. And 7 will feel like the 6 did on this side, because it's thrusting from the left to the right. And then we have 8 coming across the knees, can go inward, can go outward, right? And we can do the crosata with both, going in, going out. You'll actually see that at some point in one of our patterns, right? Going in and out with angle 8, where they crisscross. Then 9 is that high thrust to the throat here. And then 10 is downward on that angle 1. Again, it feels more like an 11 because it's on the left side. But then on 11, it'll feel like that angle 10 thrusting, because you're thrusting downward like an angle 2, right? So coming down from the left to the right. And then again, the 12 comes straight down the center line, or straight up the center line, right? Down and up, angle 12, right? And then the last point on this, when you're practicing numerato and you're using double sticks, it's good to do one then the other, because a lot of what we're going to do is called sinawali, which means to weave. And most of the content of the double stick patterns that we do are intended to weave. You're weaving one weapon in and over the other. So to get used to that practice, using the numerato, you can do right hand, then left hand, and then reverse that and do left and right. So I do my angle 1, I come down with an angle 1, and then come underneath it and do an angle 1 again, right? With my right, then my left. So if I'm on my right side, I come down with that right angle 1, I follow it with the left. I can do the same thing going upward. I can go upward with the right, upward with the left, right? And reverse that. On the angle 2, I can come down with the angle 2 with the right, follow it with the left. I can come back up that line, angle 2, can follow it with the left, that way, right? So you have downward with the right left, you have upward with the right left, you have downward on the angle 2, the right left, you have upward, the right, the left. And then angle 3 coming in, right and left, or going out, right and left. And same with 4, going in, right, left, going out, right, left. Can't really do it with the 5. Could thrust, I guess. One hand in the other, right? 6 could thrust here, pulling it back. 7 thrust the other side. Then 7 on this side, and then thrust 7 with the left hand. Then with 8, we have the same thing. You can go right, then left, and then coming back, right, then left. 9, again, we're thrusting high, one hand in the other. 10, thrusting down. 11, does the other hand, but the same line. And then 11, thrusting down, and the other hand following the same line. Then we have our angle 12s coming straight down the middle with one hand, then the other, or coming up the middle with the other. You can do the same with the backhand. You can rise with the backhand here, rise with the backhand here. You can do both at the same time. I guess you want to bring it down as well. So that's how we can practice the numerato to start to get used to this idea of these sticks that'll be in a weaving pattern in and out as you go through. And that's going to take us into our first pattern, where we won't be weaving yet, but we're getting close. For our first pattern here, we need to talk about the terminology of what they call the lob tick and the wit tick. So if I just have the sticks up on my shoulder, I'm going to have one side forward, right? I'm in a fighting stance this way. A lob tick is when you strike from one side and it crosses the body. It's a full follow through where you come all the way across. A wit tick is where you hit and return on the same line, and we do both. Sometimes we cross, sometimes we sting them with it and bring it right back again. And you need to know the difference, and so we introduce that difference with the first two patterns that we have. The first pattern that we have just comes from the sticks up on the shoulder, and it's practicing that idea of wit tick and lob tick, right? Where you're crossing the body is a lob tick, where you hit and pull back is a wit tick, right? But before you get into the pattern, we have just the drills. You can wit tick with the right hand, and again, I want to do these on diagonals. So I want to use my angle 1 and 2 so that I'm not hitting my partner in the hand. And as I do a right and left, coming in with a wit tick, the partner facing you, and that's the nice thing again about these weapons, is that everything's interactive. So Peyton, can I borrow you, buddy? Come on up. We do just the wit ticks, and the sticks are up on the shoulders here. Let's go side to side so that you can see it well. Good. All right, so if we go right, we hit, we return, then left, right? We can just go right and left. This is the most basic. Just wit tick. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right? That's the most basic. That's high with the right, left. We can also go low. We can use our angle 8. We can go low and he goes low, and then we go the other side. So go low with it. Right? Just right, left, going low, right? Then we can go high, low. We can go right, left, high, right, left, low. We can go high, high, low, low. And high, high, low, low. High, low, low. High, low, low. Right, left, high, low, low. Right? As we break up the patterns. We can also go high, low, high, low. We could go high with this one, low with this one, and then high. Well, this would keep us on the same line, right? Where they switch. So we could go high, low, high. High, low again, and high, right? And then again, high, low again, and high. High, low, high. High, low, high. Or we can go low, high, low. We can go low, high, low. Low, high, low. Low, yeah, high, low, right? So just using those combinations of whether we're on a high line or we're on a low line, and then mixing them up that way. And that's the wit tick. That's hitting and pulling straight back again. Then we have the lob tick. The lob tick's going to follow through. So as we do an angle 1, it crosses, right? come back with an angle 2, same hand. Right? That brings us back to where we started. And then the other side, I can do that angle 2 and cross, come back with an angle 1. So our high line cross is 1, 2, then 2, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, right? And we can do the same thing low. Lob tick with the right coming in with an 8, and then back out again, and then with the left, and back out again. Cross and out, cross and out, all the way. That's a lob tick, fully cross, right? Boom, boom, right? So we can go high, low, high, and come back, low. Then the other side, high, come back, low. High, low, high, low. High, low, high, low. High, low, high, low. Right high, right low. Left high, left low, right? We can go low, high. Low, come back with it, high. Low, come back with it, high. Good. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, right? And that's just practicing the basics, your whip tick, lob tick, and the different directions you can go with that before you get into the actual flow patterns, right? So, good, very good.